Listen, I'm going to be real with you. Everyone is looking for the magic shortcut to $1 million. The hack, the app, the Instagram post that blows up overnight. Here's the truth. There is only one skill that actually matters if you want to make your first million. And it's not sexy, it's not complicated, but it's everything. It's execution. Not ideas, not knowledge, execution. You can read every book, watch every video, follow every guru, but if you don't do, nothing happens. Execution is where dreams become reality. And here's the kicker. Execution isn't just working hard. It's working smart, knowing your strengths, doubling down on what you're best at, and ignoring the noise. When you align your effort with your natural abilities, every hour you spend becomes exponential. If you're tired of waiting for luck, tired of overthinking, tired of chasing the next shiny object, then pay attention, because I'm about to break down the exact system that will get you to your first million. Every lesson, every key skill, every strategy, straightforward, actionable, no fluff. Stick with me, because this is not theory. This is the playbook for doing it right, and it starts with one word: execution. Absolutely. I'll expand the speech into about 400 words, keeping it educational, motivational, and in the high energy style you'd expect from Gary Vaynerchuk. But I won't add any endings or headings. Here's the full expanded version. Listen, I need you to understand something from the very start. Everyone is looking for the shortcut to their first $1 million. The magic hack, the algorithm, the app, the overnight success story, and it doesn't exist. The truth is brutally simple. The only skill that actually matters if you want to make your first a 1M is execution. Execution is doing what everyone else is talking about doing, but actually showing up, putting in the hours, and consistently taking action every single day. Ideas are cheap, knowledge is useless without action, and inspiration doesn't pay the bills. You can study business books, watch videos, follow gurus, read every post on LinkedIn or TikTok, and you'll still have zero results if you're not executing. And execution isn't just about working hard, it's about working smart and knowing yourself. You need self-awareness. You need to understand your strengths and weaknesses so that you're doubling down on the stuff that actually moves the needle. Most people spend their time trying to fit into what they think is the right path or what other people are doing. They waste years trying to copy someone else instead of focusing on their unique abilities. Your ability to recognize where you can add the most value and then relentlessly attack that space is what separates the people who make $1 million from the ones who stay stuck. Along with self-awareness, patience is non-negotiable. Patience is the quiet secret behind every millionaire. You can't rush wealth. It doesn't work like that. You're going to want results now. You're going to feel frustrated. You're going to see your friends and family doubt you. And the market is going to test you in ways you didn't anticipate. The people who succeed are the ones who show up day after day, stacking small wins, compounding their effort over months and years, not weeks. You also need adaptability. Markets shift. Trends change, platforms evolve, and if you refuse to learn, pivot, and adjust your approach, you'll be left behind. Every failed attempt is a lesson, every tweak, iteration, and small pivot is an opportunity to grow faster than anyone else. And let's not forget communication, influence, and the ability to move people. Ideas are worthless if you can't sell them, pitch them, or inspire others to join your vision. The more you can move people, the faster you scale, and the more leverage you have. If you want your first million, stop waiting for luck, stop overthinking, stop chasing the next shiny object, and focus on executing relentlessly, learning constantly, doubling down on your strengths, and compounding your effort every single day. That is the skill that will actually get you there. Let's talk about what separates the people who talk about making $1 million from the people who actually do it. It all comes down to focus and clarity. Most people are all over the place, chasing every trend, jumping on every opportunity, trying to do a little bit of everything. And that's a recipe for mediocrity. The $1 million skill is not talent. It's not a fancy degree. It's the ability to laser, focus on the right opportunities, and execute relentlessly. You have to pick the things that you are best at and the areas where your energy, passion, and skill intersect with market demand. This is the sweet spot where your time is worth the most and your actions have the highest ROI. Anything outside of that sweet spot is wasted effort, wasted energy, and wasted time. And time is the only currency that can't be replaced. Alongside focus comes speed. Most people overthink, hesitate, and procrastinate because they're scared of making mistakes. Let me tell you something, mistakes are not the enemy, they are the fastest way to learn. The speed at which you execute, iterate, and adjust is the differentiator between those who make their first million and those who stay in the crowd forever. If you're waiting for perfect conditions, the perfect strategy, or the perfect timing, you're already too late. Execution paired with speed beats intelligence or experience almost every time because action compounds while inaction costs you opportunities. The other side of speed is attention to market signals. You have to watch what people are actually doing, what they are buying, what they are talking about, and where attention is flowing. The ability to sense shifts in behavior trends and markets gives you leverage that no strategy can buy. Combine that with relentless self-awareness, the courage to fail, and the discipline to keep going when things get tough, and you're creating a system where your results compound exponentially. Then there's communication and influence. Being able to tell your story, pitch your idea, and inspire others is what turns execution into real revenue. You can build a product, launch a service, or create content, but if no one knows about it, no one buys, no one shares, no one amplifies, your work is invisible. To make your first million, you need to pair execution with influence, focus with speed, learning with action, and self-awareness with relentless hustle, because that combination is unstoppable. Let's get one thing clear. Making your first $1 million is not about luck. It's not about timing. It's not about being born into the right circumstances. It's about leveraging your unique abilities and doubling down on what actually works. Most people spend too much time worrying about what they don't have instead of maximizing what they do have, and that's why they stay stuck. The first step is knowing yourself at a deep level. Self-awareness is your greatest asset because it allows you to focus your energy where it counts the most. You have to understand what you're good at, what you enjoy, and what the market actually values. When you combine those three, you create leverage that most people can't even touch. Along with self-awareness comes discipline. Discipline isn't just about doing the hard work, it's about doing the right work consistently, even when no one is watching, even when it's boring, even when you feel like giving up. Execution without discipline will burn out. Execution with discipline compounds and scales. Then there's patience. Patience is the secret weapon of everyone who hits 7 figures. People who try to rush, people who chase shortcuts, people who look for instant gratification, they fail more often than not. Wealth is a long game, and compounding your actions over time is how the math works in your favor. You also need to embrace learning and adaptability. The market is constantly evolving, technologies shift, consumer behavior changes. And if you're not learning, if you're not adapting, you're already behind. Every failure, every small setback is an opportunity to pivot, adjust, and execute better the next time. You can't let ego get in the way. You can't let pride stop you from iterating. And you can't be afraid to change course when the data tells you to. Communication is another multiplier. You can have the best product, the best idea, the best service, but if you can't communicate its value, inspire people to buy, or motivate a team to help you, your efforts will plateau. Influence is the multiplier of execution. And when you combine influence, self-awareness, discipline, learning, and patience, you create a system that naturally produces results. Finally, you have to understand that speed matters. The faster you act, the faster you test, the faster you learn, the faster you scale, the faster you compound. The market rewards action, not perfection, and the people who make their first million are the ones who execute quickly, adjust constantly, and never stop. Now I want you to really pay attention because this is where most people fall apart. They think making $1 million is about having a genius idea or some secret strategy. But it's not. The real differentiator is your ability to execute relentlessly while paying attention to what actually works in the real world. Most people chase what looks exciting, what's trendy, or what everyone else is doing, and they waste years without building anything meaningful. The first step is focus. You have to stop trying to do everything and pick the things that actually move the needle for you. That means understanding where your strengths, skills, and passions intersect with market demand, because when you operate in that zone, your effort is amplified and every action you take is exponentially more effective than random effort. Alongside focus is the ability to make decisions fast. Speed is everything. Too many people overthink, hesitate, and delay action because they're scared of making mistakes. But mistakes are how you learn. Mistakes are how you get better. And mistakes are what separate people who make their first million from those who stay stuck. The faster you act, test, and adjust, the faster your results compound. And the market always rewards the person who moves. But moving fast doesn't mean rushing blindly. It's paired with awareness. You have to read the market, understand trends, watch attention, and see where opportunities are emerging. The person who can sense shifts before everyone else sees them has leverage that can't be taught in a classroom. Another part of this skill is communication and influence. You can execute perfectly, but if you can't communicate value, inspire others, or sell your ideas, your work will never scale. Influence turns effort into revenue. And the better you get at it, the more doors open for you and the faster your wealth grows. Then there's self-awareness and adaptability. You have to understand your strengths and weaknesses. Double down on the strengths and iterate constantly to cover your weaknesses. Every failure is a lesson. Every pivot is progress. And your ability to adapt faster than anyone else compounds into results over time. You also need patience and discipline. Wealth is never built overnight. And the people who succeed are the ones who show up every day, stack small wins, and keep compounding effort even when it's boring, uncomfortable, or unglamorous. Combine focus, speed, adaptability, influence, patience, and discipline, and you're creating a system that produces results naturally. Let's get one thing straight. If you want to make your first $1 million, you have to understand that nothing happens without relentless execution. Ideas are worthless without action. Knowledge is useless without doing, and talent alone won't get you across the finish line. Most people fail because they underestimate the power of consistent, daily effort compounded over time. You have to show up every single day and execute on the things that matter, even when it's uncomfortable, even when no one is watching, and even when you feel like quitting. Alongside execution, you need to embrace self-awareness like your life depends on it. You have to know your strengths, your weaknesses, what energizes you, what drains you, and where your skills create the most leverage. Once you understand yourself, you can double down on what works and ignore the noise that distracts everyone else. Execution without self-awareness is wasted energy, but execution with self-awareness multiplies every action you take. Speed is another non-negotiable. The faster you test, the faster you iterate, and the faster you adjust, the faster you scale. Waiting for perfect conditions, the perfect idea, or the perfect timing is the biggest mistake you can make because the market rewards action over perfection every single time. You also need to pair speed with adaptability. Markets change, trends evolve, attention shifts, and if you are rigid, you'll get left behind. The ability to pivot, learn, and adjust constantly is what separates millionaires from dreamers. Communication and influence are equally important. You can execute perfectly, but if you can't inspire, sell, or motivate others, your results will plateau. Influence amplifies your work, spreads your ideas, and creates opportunities that otherwise wouldn't exist. Patience is the secret weapon nobody talks about. People want instant gratification, but real wealth takes years of stacking small wins, compounding effort, and showing up consistently even when it feels slow, boring, or thankless. Discipline is the fuel that keeps you executing day after day, while self-awareness guides you to the right actions. Speed ensures you stay ahead, adaptability lets you pivot when needed, and influence multiplies your impact. When you combine all of these, the relentless execution, self-awareness, speed, adaptability, influence, patience, and discipline, you create a system where results are inevitable. The first million is not about luck, timing, or genius. It's about mastering this system, showing up every day, learning constantly, executing relentlessly, and letting your actions compound like interest over time. Here's what nobody tells you about making your first million. It's not about having the perfect plan, the perfect product, or the perfect timing. It's about consistency, relentless execution, and attention to what actually works. Most people get stuck thinking that success comes from luck or genius, but those are just excuses for not doing the work. You have to show up every single day. Take action on what moves the needle and ignore the distractions that everyone else gets caught up in. The people who make their first million are not smarter. They are not luckier. They are not faster thinkers. They simply do more of the right things consistently. They learn faster from their failures and they iterate relentlessly. Self-awareness is your foundation. You have to know your strengths, your weaknesses, your natural talents, and the things that energize you versus the things that drain you. Because without this clarity, your execution will be scattered and inefficient. Once you understand yourself, you can double down on what creates leverage, and every action you take has more impact. Speed and adaptability go hand in hand. You have to execute quickly, test, adjust, pivot, and iterate constantly because the market never stops moving. Waiting for perfect timing or the perfect plan is the biggest killer of momentum. Mistakes are not setbacks, they are feedback, and if you're learning and adapting faster than anyone else, you are building an edge that no one can take away. Communication and influence amplify everything you do. You can have the best product, the best service, the best idea in the world. But if you cannot communicate its value, inspire others, or motivate people to act, your results will plateau. Execution plus influence multiplies every dollar, every connection, and every opportunity. Discipline is what sustains this over time. Showing up, putting in the work, and staying committed day after day, month after month, even when it's boring or uncomfortable, is how small actions compound into massive results. Patience is what lets compounding do its magic. True wealth is built over years, not months. And the people who understand that are the ones who eventually cross the 7-figure mark. Combine relentless execution, self-awareness, speed, adaptability, influence, discipline, and patience, and you create a system that produces results naturally. The difference between someone stuck at the starting line and someone hitting their first million is not talent, luck, or timing. It's the mastery of this system, showing up every day, learning constantly, adjusting when necessary, and letting your actions compound over time. If you take one thing away from everything we just talked about, it's this: making your first million isn't about luck, timing, or waiting for the perfect moment. It's about mastering the system of relentless execution, self-awareness, speed, adaptability, influence, discipline, and patience. Every single action you take, every lesson you learn, every pivot you make compounds over time. The people who succeed are not the smartest, not the most talented, and not the luckiest. They are the ones who show up consistently, double down on their strengths, learn faster than everyone else, adjust when needed, and keep pushing even when it's uncomfortable, boring, or uncertain. Wealth is built by stacking small wins, executing without hesitation, and leveraging every ounce of energy and focus you have on what actually moves the needle. If you internalize these principles and commit to applying them every single day, you create momentum that no one can stop, opportunities that will naturally come to you, and results that will compound faster than you ever imagined. Your first million is not a dream. It's a consequence of mastering the system, showing up, doing the work, learning relentlessly, and letting your actions compound over time.